Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial. Today's review would be Avengers Endgame. Let's get into it. Now, after all the Avengers movies, 1, 2, and 3, here's the 4th installment. And after 3 hours of watching this movie, here's the review. Now, I didn't know what to expect. I've been seeing trailers, a bunch of rumors, and I didn't know what to expect. So, none of the rumors was really that true. So they did a good job of keeping a lot of the whatever took place on the wraps. And the movie had a lot of dialogue, a lot of talking, not enough action until the very end. A lot of story on how to get things reversed and get the people back that lost. And so the movie starts off with Hawkeye, who we didn't see in Avengers 3 Infinity War. Starts off where he lost his family. So when he lost his family, he ended up going berserk. But what took place is they also let me rewind back. So yeah, they did. That's how the movie started off. But in the trailers, remember we kept seeing where it showed Nick Fury's little pager thing, and it showed Captain Marvel show up. Well, that's not even in the movie. I think they just made that as like a sidebar thing. That part is not even in the movie. So that's what it hit me to even bring that up. But nevertheless, Tony gets found on that ship that you seen him talking on, and he was giving that last message to Pepper. He was found by Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel brought the ship down from space, and that's how he first met her. And she brought the ship down from space to the Avengers Center, where there was Black Widow and Captain America. And they've been racking their brain trying to figure out a way. So Tony came, they got Tony, and Rocket was there with Thanos, the mechanical daughter. I can't remember what her name was, but nevertheless, they had her there, and they were thinking, and Thor was upset. So Thor was there, and they was thinking how they had to figure out how to find out where Thanos is. So Nevia, I think that's her name, Nevia, she knew where he was, because every time when she was doing stuff with him, he would always mention this certain planet or whatever. And so she knew where he was. So they was thinking, if there's any way that they could get them back, they gotta go for it. So he used the gauntlet again, and that's how it triggered. He used it again. So they found the planet. They all went to the planet, and Captain Marvel went and scoped the planet out first, just to see how what was in the planet. But it was nothing there with just him. So when they went there, he was off picking like fruit or something, and when he was picking fruit, they showed up and they grabbed him, and they asked him where was the stones in the gauntlet, and he used it. He used the power of the gauntlet to destroy the stones, and it fried them in the process. So they first chopped off his hand or whatever, and then he was saying that basically it's a done deal, there's nothing you could do. And then Thor chopped his head off, and so Thanos was dead at that moment. Then fast forward, after that moment, they all was like disgusted, lost of hope, and fast forward 5 years later. Now in comes the van that Ant-Man, remember he went into the quantum realm and at the end of Infinity War, he went into the quantum realm. Well, no, at the end of Wasp, and his people turned to dust. They ended up taking his van and putting it in a junkyard somewhere, and a rat got inside the van and hit a button on the thing, which allowed the machine to start back up and shoot him out of the quantum realm. And when he came out, it was 5 years later. So now he's just now figuring out everything, what took place, and everybody, people disappeared, but then he went and they had listed names of everybody who passed. He didn't see his daughter name on there, so he went to where his daughter, and he found his daughter. He seen his daughter, that she was older, and then from there he went to where the Avengers hideout is, and then he was speaking to them, basically telling them like to even think about the quantum realm, like time travel, and the only people that they knew they had to get the brains, Tony and Banner. So they got Banner. By this time, Banner is now Hulk and Banner mixed together, and now he's the Hulk, but he's Banner, so he's educated Hulk rather, and he's walking around, he's chilling, being himself, and they go grab him. Then they try to go grab Tony, but now Tony gave everything up. His wife was alive, Pepper, and they had a daughter, so he's cool in life. He's not like everybody else. Everybody else, they missing somebody. 2 important people is in his life. He's cool, but Spider-Man, he really digs Spider-Man, so he did feel some type way about that. So his next step was like, when they asked Tony to help, he like, I can't lose my family. But of course, Tony being Tony, he was working on the time travel like on his own with his own science. So they was trying on their own, but they was messing up. And so Tony show up, and then Tony comes and give him like the missing piece that they was missing. And so that's basically the plot of the story. Now the whole plot is to go back in time to where each stone was once located, take that stone, and then bring it back out of the quantum realm. And once they bring it out of the quantum realm, they could forge their own glove, and do a snapback to bring everybody back or whatever. So that was the goal. And of course, one of the main things that goes when they go get this soul stone, same way with Thanos, you had to give a sacrifice for him, or for a person, for a soul, and Ronan, Nighthawk, and Black Widow, that was their mission. And so they both fought on who should sacrifice, and Ronan had, which is Nighthawk, or Hawkeye, my bad, he had more of to lose, because he had a family and kids and a wife. She really didn't have anything but the people that she was surrounded with. So she sacrificed herself, and he came back with the soul stone. But meanwhile, the twist was when they went back to get was it the power? I think it was the power stone, where Quinn was, and the Nevia, she went with Patriot, and she went in and got it and gave it to Patriot. Like, her hand had fried when she went in there to got it. She gave it to Patriot. And now, but when he zapped to go back, she couldn't zap back, because back in the day, the past Nevia was with Thanos and Mora. They had whatchamacallit. They was near, so somehow their senses was mechanically messing with each other or whatever. So her whole plan that she's seen all the Avengers in the future, the Thanos from the past got to see their whole plan. So they swapped out Nivea, the mechanical daughter of Thanos, swapped her out, picked the bad one, the old one, because the future one is she's now good or whatever, but the one in the past is bad. So they swapped and let the old one go back. And what she did while they was all but the stones back to forge the new gauntlet hand, the Tony Stark's version, she came out and she opened up a portal to bring Thanos from the past with his whole army and that big ship to the future. So that was the plot twist. They made the gauntlet hand thing, and they all was deciding who should wear it. And then they was saying, well, Thor was like, I'm the strongest, but Hulk was saying it's kind of made with gamma rays. I would be the strongest that could withstand it and still live, or whatever. So Hulk took it, and he absorbed everything, and he snapped it, and it darn near, it looked like it was gonna kill him, but it didn't. But it fried him pretty good. And so right at that moment, that's when Thanos came and blew up the Avengers center. And from there, Thanos was sitting there waiting, and then Tony, Captain America, and Thor went out there to fight him. So he fought him, and the cool part, way back, if you remember in like Avengers 1 or 2, they were sitting around seeing who could pick up Thor's hammer, and nobody could pick it up. And when Captain America grabbed it, it like buzzed a little or whatever. So in this one, Captain America can pick up Thor's hammer. Now, I left out how Thor get his hammer back, but it's when he go back in time, he went and got his hammer. Because remember, you could bring stuff out of, when you go back, you can bring stuff out of it. So he brought back his hammer from the past or whatever. And so when he did, Captain America could forge his hammer, and Captain America was using his hammer, and they was fighting Thanos, getting it in, and Thanos was almost killed Thor, and that's when Captain America hit him with the hammer or whatever. So they was fighting, and they all got dusted off. Tony got beat up, Thor got beat up, and then he tossed Captain America, and then Thanos gave this great speech like, hey, basically, I'm gonna enjoy. It was never personal, but I'm gonna enjoy demolishing this planet. And so he pretty much at that point brought back his whole army, and you see this whole army coming out. But then at that very moment, they would say, Cap on your left, and then it came out Black Panther with his Okoye and his sister and Sherry, and then all the other Avengers and Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, all of them came out for the big battle. So the big battle, I mean, they got it on. Was it as good as the Lord of the Rings battles and all that? Not really. They got it on, and the disappointment part of this whole, it was a lot of dialogue. The majority of the movie is dialogue, how they get the stones back, how they get the people back. The action is not really into the end. And the disappointing part of the battle, there was never a Credible Hulk and Thanos rematch. And all the fans been wanting that. It was just moments you kept thinking, this is the moment, it's going to be the rematch. And Credible Hulk was going to come and revenge himself. Never happened. So that was disappointing. And then Iron Man said he seen Doctor Strange, and remember Infinity War, Doctor Strange, out of all the ways that he cycled, it was only one way for them to win. And it got to a moment they kept trying to get the gauntlet into the quantum realm so they could disappear with it, but everybody was trying to snatch them from getting there. And they finally got the gauntlet in hand, and Thanos had it. He was Gary Snap, and right when he was Gary Snap, Captain Marvel came and grabbed his arm, and then from there, everybody was stopping him, and then Tony went and grabbed him. But see, because it was Tony's mechanical glove, he basically hit the button on the glove when Thanos had it, and when Thanos went to snap, it didn't do anything because Tony's technology, it scrimped it all up, and then it reformed on Tony's hand. And when Tony got it, and then he looked at Doctor Strange, and he basically said it's one way, and then Tony was like, I'm Iron Man. Now keep in mind, they didn't want Tony to do that in the beginning because Tony couldn't withstand it would fry him. Just like it did Thanos, it fried him when he did it, and it fried Incredible Hulk, but they got powers. Tony don't got no powers, human. So when he did it, of course, it fried him. Spoiler, this whole review has been a spoiler, so hopefully you reading this after you've seen it, but my reviews is normally spoilers. I don't have time to wait. So, to do a second one. So, from here, Iron Man got fried, but when he did his snap was to make Thanos and all his army disappear. And so Thanos sat there and looked, and he knew it was over. He knew he was defeated, and he turned to dust, and all his army turned to dust. Meanwhile, Tony was fried. He died. And so the plan was to get the stones. They had to take the stones and get the stones to their rightful places from back in the past. And Captain America said he was the one that wanted to do it. And they were like, we could go with you. He was like, no, I'll do this on my own. And so when the people like Banner and them that sent them said it would take it's 5 seconds to them. But when to the person that's going into the realm, it could be all day or whatever. So when they actually came back out, they was like, where he at? He was actually sitting on the bench, and Captain America came out as the older version of himself, and he lived his life. Remember, he been longing to be with that woman that he never was with. That when he came back, she was already old and stuff like that. So he missed his life with her. So that's who he went back to. And so now he passed the torch on to Falcon, and he passed the shield over to Falcon or whatever. So it's always been rumors that it's going to be a spinoff to the Avengers. Falcon is supposed to get a movie, and I forgot who else was supposed to get a movie too. So overall, this there's no post-credit scenes. I gotta really process this movie. Outright, I'm gonna say it's not the greatest movie that I have ever watched. It doesn't. I was disappointed in some things. A lot of people go on rave it was the best ever, and it was long, three hours long. So out of my 4-star rating system, I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 4 stars. I can see where somebody would say 3.5 out of 4 stars. I can see that. I'm going to go with 3 out of 4 stars. But I can't give it a 4 out of 4. Somebody give it 4 out of 4. Maybe start thinking they got paid off or something like that. Or they're affiliated with somebody. It's definitely not 4 out of 4 stars. It's 3 out of 4 stars, 3.5 out of 4 stars. Something in that realm. Thanks for taking the time out to listen to my review. Subscribe and like. Subscribe and like. Leave a comment if you want. Till next time.